Today, I'm going to tell you a funny, but at the moment, scary experience from smoking weed. This happened back in 2016-2017, so bear with me on remembering this weird experience. So it was a normal after-school day where I'd either go to work or go home and smoke. I also would smoke after work. This day though, I was declared free from the stresses of being a cashier at a local grocery store. Since I was off, I decided it would be a perfect time to smoke weed. I do my usual routine when I wanted to get stoned. Grab my shit, put it in my pockets, tell my mom I was going for a walk, and leave, hoping she didn't smell the weed. There were some nights I'd come home, and you could just tell she knew I was stoned, drunk, or both. Anyways, I left my apartment and walked across the street to another apartment complex. This apartment complex is right before a park with baseball fields I used to play on for the leagues. In between the apartments and the park, there was a section of woods where a lot of my stoner friends would go to get high. It's littered with lighters, pizza boxes, drink cups. You could even find some nugs of weed on the ground if you were lucky. Not only was this the spot, but it was also my favorite place to go. The catch, though, was that you were never really hidden from the public there. In one direction, you'd be looking at the back apartments. Another direction, you would be looking at the park. Then another direction, behind some local businesses, and also a storage unit. The storage unit comes into the story later. Every time we'd go there, we'd always be on the lookout for people or cops, because cops were always patrolling the area. Although my whole time I smoked there, I never got caught. Sometimes we just said fuck it and smoked at the park. Shit, I'd be smoking my joint while walking behind the businesses. Now that you know the setting, let me just get to the story. I decided to be different and smoke at a different spot in the woods. It is probably the most private spot, but people could still see if they were really paying attention. We usually just sit on a log in the middle of the path. I get to the spot, pull out my bowl, and pack it with some of the dankest Northeast Ohio weed. At least, I thought it was the dankest at the time. I hit the bowl, and the smoke blew out of my mouth. I finished it just like every other bowl I packed. I usually pack them good too. A weird thing happened though after I finished this bowl. I started hearing a noise, but not something I recognized. Now when I smoke, I get super paranoid and always have, so this freaked me out. I start looking around to see who or what the culprit was. My high ass looked like if paranoid was a person. I finally found what was making the noise. I look up in the tree, and there, I lay my eyes on a damn squirrel. This dude was staring directly at me and making these weird noises. I don't know if they were mating calls or a get off of my property call. It didn't matter though, because I was just completely petrified by this. Sober me would have sucked it up and wouldn't have even paid any attention to it. But since my senses were amplified, I noticed the squirrel and the noises it was making tenfold. It stopped for a bit, so I thought it was a good time to get up and leave. When I got up though, he started making the noises again. At this point, I definitely thought he was directing this towards me. It sounded like a very angry squirrel. I sat back down after being too scared to go back to my apartment. I was thinking of what I should do next. I didn't want this squirrel to keep me here all night. The squirrel stopped making the noises again, and I decided to try again to leave. On cue though, the squirrel was back to yelling at me to sit down. So what did I do? I sat my ass straight back down. I repeated this process about 5 times, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. After trying many times to escape, I thought that there has to be a different way I could go. The way I was going to piss the squirrel off was in the direction of the apartments. I thought to myself, maybe I can hop this fence into the storage unit area. I did not like the plan, but it was either I go into the storage area or get attacked by this horny squirrel, and I think I knew which option to choose. I get up, and again, the squirrel starts making the scary noise. I just tried to ignore it, but it was very hard to do. The fence I had to climb was pretty tall. It was like 2 feet taller than I was. I couldn't worry about the height of the fence though, because I needed to get away from this demonic squirrel. I started to climb it, and I hopped over onto the pavement. Hell yeah, was in my mind as I was celebrating this unnecessary conquest. I start walking away from the squirrel in the tree to find a way out. I'm very familiar with this storage unit because I live right across the street from it. I didn't know it well enough though, because I tried to leave, and the only exit was through a gate that you needed a card or passcode to get through. I was panicking trying to find a way out. There was no exit I could take except for hopping the fence again. I didn't want to hop over the fence into the squirrel's general area because I did not want to pass through the gates of hell again. I found a smaller fence to hop over into the same woods, but far away from the squirrel. I climb it and jump onto the dirt path, and now I can reclaim my freedom with a sigh of relief. I didn't bother taking any more time getting home, so I ran all the way back. I never found out what that squirrel's real intentions were. Were they malicious, or was I just paranoid? Either way, I was terrified from a tiny creature that could probably do no damage to me. I'm not afraid of squirrels anymore because I got over that kind of fast, but I still think about this experience to this very day and wanted you all to hear it because it's so dumb, but just very traumatic for me at the time. If I ever smoke in the woods again, I'll be sure to never go by a squirrel.